He's one of the most well-known legendary figures in Japanese culture. This is Benkei by Suzuki Chokichi. This late 19th century Meiji period bronze sculpture depicts a fierce-looking Benkei, posed in an active stance, ready for battle as he reaches to pull out his sword. The way his right-handed sleeve is splayed in the air, as well as the folds in the left sleeve and torso of his outer garment, give the sculpture a lively sense of movement. Benkei is an interesting figure in Japanese culture, serving as a popular theme in art, theater, and film. Musashibo Benkei was a historical figure who became immortalized through legends. The most common version of his story is that he was a man with incredible strength. As a young man, he was a monk soldier at Enryakuji Temple on Mount Hiei. His personal quest was to collect 1,000 swords from those he defeated in battle. He had collected 999 swords when one day he met a man named Minamoto Yoshitsune on a bridge. Benkei was ultimately defeated, but was so amazed by Yoshitsune's skill that Benkei became his follower. According to legend, during his final battle in 1189, Benkei bravely defended Yoshitsune, and though struck by numerous arrows, died while standing. Benkei was a fierce warrior, and the sculpture plays up that aspect with his exaggerated, aggressive expression. His thick brows are furrowed, and his mouth is snarled, exposing his teeth. Benkei's entire appearance is stylized. His hair is pulled up in a style called chasengami, or T-whisk hair, which helps balance his hat. The hat combines elements of the boat-shaped samurai eboshi, known for its protruding folded triangle, and the black tokin cap worn by yamabushi, or mountain monks. As a subject for this sculpture, Benkei embodies the traditional masculine and warrior ideals. The outer garment is decorated with clouds, dragons, and a sea creature called a shachi hoko that has the head of a dragon and the body of a carp with wings. In Japanese folklore, it has the power to summon rain and protects against fire. The hem throughout the garment also has a motif, possibly dragons. Stylized flower motifs, perhaps lotus, appear on his armored sleeves, shin guards, and leather shoes. Lotus flowers tend to symbolize the journey of life, transformation, and spiritual growth. Chrysanthemums, auspicious flowers that symbolize longevity, rejuvenation, and nobility, decorate his pants. The embellishments on the wood base also feature chrysanthemums, mirroring the flowers of the bronze sculpture. Flowers also dot the rocky base of the sculpture. On Benkei's pants, there are motifs of a phoenix-like bird called a ho'o, or fenghuang, that has characteristics of various animals. It is a sacred mythical entity that originates from Chinese folklore, but is often associated with peace, virtue, the natural elements, and the imperial family in Japanese culture. Stylized leaves of the paulownia tree, where ho'o dwell, are also depicted with the creature. Suzuki still manages to portray Benkei in a lifelike manner, as seen with the lines of his hands. His dedication to detail is also reflected in the texture of his hat, intricately wound and tied rope, finely combed hair, and sword. Suzuki was meticulous, even in his rendition of the scabbard surface. Traditionally, some swords were wrapped in same, which would have been ray or shark skin that has a bubble-like surface. Because it was a material that was specially imported from Southeast Asia, only high-ranking samurai could afford it. It would have been a painstaking task to recreate those minuscule elements for this bronze sculpture. Near Benkei's feet is the artist's cast imprint that reads, "Made by Suzuki Chokichi of the Great Japan." Suzuki, who sometimes went by the name Kako, was one of the premier Japanese craftsmen and artistic entrepreneurs of the late 19th century. At age 18, he opened his own bronze casting business in Edo, modern-day Tokyo, around 1870. In 1874, he became the metalworking director of the government-sponsored Kiritsu Kosho Kaisha, or Pioneering Craft and Commerce Company, that promoted Japanese crafts overseas until 1891. Suzuki's works were exhibited internationally, including at specialized World's Fairs where he won awards, and in 1896 he was appointed as an imperial court artist. The fact that this piece was created during the Meiji period of Japan is also interesting because it was during this time that the samurai class was usurped by imperial rule. Metal workers were no longer allowed to make swords, so they had to adapt. The result was an increase in bronze casting, especially near the new capital of Tokyo, producing more artistic craft work for exports to Western markets and for international exhibitions. The works often featured exaggerated elements borrowed from early Chinese art and exotic decoration. At a time when Japan was opening up to the West, they still honored their traditions and were willing to share their history with the world.